Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day, a great start to your week. Let's talk about Palantir Technologies. What we're really seeing in the market today in terms of a technical pattern and a bullish pattern that is being set up right before our eyes. Now, this is correlating with interesting options activity occurring at a specific strike price that is also corresponding with big investors starting to accumulate a high volume in terms of shares. We're also going to be talking about the general market. NASDAQ, S&P 500 still continuing to set these historical highs that we've kind of seen basically being repeated on a daily basis. And this is coming in light of the Fed releasing some remarks about seeing some deflationary pressure, which is starting to get our hopes up and the probability increasing for those first interest rate cuts. And we're going to be, of course, finishing with some other stocks talking about NVDA. If you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, pop it up on the screen here. What we're seeing and utilizing MooMoo's interface is Palantir Technologies that is closing right now at 25.83, up actually a little bit in the after hours, kind of basically sitting at this 26, this resistance point. And what we see with PLTR is this cup and handle right here that is starting to be formed. People asking about, will there possibly be a breakout into the 30s here in the near future? Volume is staying pretty steady, what we're seeing, but one thing that I like to see, especially here on MooMoo, is that the daily short volume fell off of a cliff here compared to the day before, Monday's trading session. You see total short volume is 9.18 that was on Monday. What we had today was cut in half to 4.28. This is showing me that we're seeing a reversal in terms of perspective on bullish position. Now, if you guys do not know, I am an affiliate with MooMoo. Right now, you can get up to 8.1% APY on your uninvested cash, and even depositing like $100 going towards something like PLTR, you can get up to 15 free stocks by utilizing my link down in the description, of course, with commission-free trading and other powerful investing tools. Make sure you check out that link if you want to take advantage of this big welcome bonus. Now, let's talk about what we see in PLTR, and specifically a big thing that has helped push PLTR into the mid-20s, and that is we have Bank of America that came here. We referenced this in yesterday's video, but a quick recap, increasing their price targets. And basically, one of their analysts here believes that Palantir's business, even though one of the biggest criticisms, of course, is its high valuation, is that the business is still poised for growth on the governmental and the commercial side of things. Because one of the things that they are seeing is that this defense AI integration is basically preparing to take off. Now, we've seen this with governmental contracts, especially with the last one, the $480 million contract. And as AI is continuing to grow in terms of a technological perspective, we are going to see all these different defense sectors that want to get AI incorporated into their industries, into their products, into everything that they have to help stay ahead of the game. Basically, this AI arms race that we're seeing. And Palantir comes in at a leading competitor because they've been establishing this type of relationship for a long time. So governmental contracts are looking very well. Now, if you throw the commercial side of things on top of that, looking here at momentum from the boot camps and other channels, that's where we're starting to see not just a baseline of growth here, but more of an exponential amount of growth for PLTR, considering the amount of boot camps that have already been established since the actual program's rollout. We've seen in the last earnings report, remember, they've already said that they've had over 1,300 AIP boot camps. So as we see the conversion rate that continues to increase and the sales cycle that is starting to report what these AIP boot camps are actually resulting in terms of revenue sales, this will look good for PLTR, in my opinion. Now, what now we see for PLTR, 12-month forecast, 22.55. That's lower than what we're seeing right now. Of course, the Bank of America analyst does not always agree. You know, all these different analysts do not agree with each other. One of the big things that we are seeing, of course, is its high valuation. Now, talked about its high valuation, that is important to not ignore, and especially for the long-term bullish perspective. What does that mean for the next 5 years? And depending how PLTR can really integrate its LLMs, its large language models, and other types of AI technologies into solutions and rivaling the different competitors that are also trying to get a piece of the AI pie. Talking about Snowflake, Microsoft, Amazon, Google even. You have these big companies developing AI analytics software that will compete with PLTR. So it'll be interesting to see if PLTR can hold on to the sustainable growth that we are seeing over the next coming years. Like I said, even with its already established credibility and trustworthiness via the governmental contracts, I think this is going to be a great hedge against the other companies out there. In terms of what that means, going back to the valuation comments, that means that PLTR, I think, has the opportunity to grow into the valuation, and why I personally right now agree with the Bank of America's analysts saying here that we're still going to see continued growth, even though we're seeing forward price to earnings like at 70 right now. Things are looking very high in terms of valuation, but look at all the other AI stocks out there, comparing it to the other ones. It's important to see the kind of AI boom that we are in general. And talking about what we are seeing in terms of options activity, talking about here, Twitter posts, do they know something that we don't? We see a lot of call volume that is taking place at the $31 strike price, and this is coming in here, especially here at Cathie Wood, that just recently purchased shy of 200,000 shares of Palantir at a closing price of $25.88 on the same day, standing at about approximately $5.16 million, accumulating that into the ARK Invest ETF, or the ARK Invest Fund. You guys, everybody basically knows who Cathie Wood is if you have a little bit of knowledge within the markets here. But in terms of that, we see large investors coming in, piling, accumulating shares to PLTR. On top of $31 strike price, options activities really increasing at that specific strike price. And with this cup and handle type of technical pattern that we're seeing, could we possibly see that breakout into the 30s? I think something could be gearing up. Do they know something that we don't? That is a very honest question. And this comes with PLTR earnings that is now going to be basically about a month away. Remember, we have a short trading week. Tomorrow is going to be short, and you have Thursday that's going to be cut off for the 4th of July. There's not going to be any trading. Earnings is going to be about a month away. We're going to start talking about it. Everybody's going to be gearing up, and this could... everything kind of falling in line here, this domino effect in terms of cascading. Could this be an acceleration and a momentum pusher up into the 30s? Now, that is entirely possible. Only time will tell. However, if you couple all this news that we're talking about here with the S&P 500 that is still closing at record highs on top of the NASDAQ here, you have new data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics release show that there were 8.14 million jobs opened at the end of May, an increase from 7.92 job openings. So what we're seeing, Powell coming out here saying encouraged by cooler inflation, but still saying that they need reinforcement, that the central bank will need to see more evidence. However, he noted with the last inflationary readings that we talked about, CPI data, one of the biggest gauges in the PCE and PCE Expenditures Index, April and May, suggesting that we're getting back towards this deflationary path. And the Fed wants to see not just 1 month of a big month of deflationary pressure. He wants to see a trend that is continuing to grow. So I think this trend continuing to decelerate inflation, if we see this, that continues even for the month of June, that data, when that data gets released, when we see the month for the July, talking about possibly the first interest rates getting cut here in the fall. That's where the probability what the market is pricing in right now as we speak. We've talked about this in many videos. Let's talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA today, in terms of price action, came down about 1%. Basically kind of stayed still, correlated, kind of traded like Palantir. Talking about should you buy NVIDIA stock, Hanover, after the stock split, blah, blah, blah. One thing that we do see for NVIDIA is the fact that we can talk about overvaluations, but the stock that has tripled in the same period, the stock has basically 30x'd over the last 5 years. But however, what we're seeing is the momentum and the demand and the numbers, the data that's being released by NVIDIA is kind of keeping up with the pressure that we're seeing in terms of what the price targets are. Now, what we saw here is analysts that are continuing to raise their price. We see Truist, they now have a share price right here to hit 140 over the next 12 months. We have Fitzgerald coming here more bullish, raising it from 175 to 140. I think what we've seen, and especially with the robust data sales that we saw yesterday, the demand for AI, NVIDIA specifically, with their H100 and H200 chips, I think the demand is justified because we're seeing that reflected in the sales. I don't think NVIDIA here is, personally, my own opinion, I don't think we're going to see a big correction in the near future. Maybe some small pullbacks, of course, with profit taking that could happen, but NVIDIA bouncing back. Everybody is just thinking NVIDIA is going to still continue to increase, and we're seeing that actually being justified in the sales. We haven't seen any bad news with NVIDIA thus far. Once there is a big bad piece of bearish news from NVIDIA, that's when I think we could possibly see a little bit of a pullback. But right now, we'll see what happens with time. Let me know, what do you guys think happened with PLTR here? Do you think we're going to see that push into the 30s? And with NVIDIA, do you think that that's going to continue to accelerate along with the general market if these deflationary pressures continue to evolve? I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Take care. Have a great day.